Hey, it's Chris Chico, and if you want to quit your job and be able to do real estate investing full-time as a full-time wholesaler, then today's video is for you because I'm going to go over what I call my MCS formula. I bet you never heard that before. Why? Because I just put these letters up, but they do mean something. And the most important thing is this. You want to not only be able to quit your job, but you want to do it in a way so that you can set up clear expectations. If you're thinking, oh, I'm going to quit my job next month, but really that's not realistic. And that's a problem because now you're going to be, in a month's time, when you figure out that you didn't quit your job, then you're going to be deflated and you're just not going to have the right mindset and you're going to think that, oh my gosh, this thing isn't working out. Number one. Number two, if you quit your job, the last thing you want to do is then have to go back to a job. Like you want to quit that job and you want to be free. You don't ever want to go back to working again. And so what I'm going to lay out here is what I believe is the formula, what I believe is the mindset necessary for you to be able to have success in quitting your job. And in addition to everything here that I'm going to disclose, there's one common element with regards to everyone that has been able to successfully quit their job and become a full-time investor. And that is that they have liked my video. That's right. They have liked my video and they've made a comment. So I want you to do that because I don't want you to do everything else here and then it doesn't work. Why? Because you're going to say to yourself, Chico, you know what? I never liked your video. That's the reason why I never was able to make that work. Well, let's get right to it. Now, as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Now I'm looking at my notes. I'm not looking at my phone, not to be rude or anything like that, but I gotta write stuff down. You should be writing stuff down. Now, the first thing is going to be the mindset. And I want to make sure that you understand that you have to have a shift in mindset. And the mindset shift, okay, right now you might be thinking, Chico, man, I got this job and I'm going to do real estate on the side and I'm going to try and see if I can make that work. That's the wrong approach. What you have to start thinking is, okay, you have to start thinking is that your job equals second, okay? And your REI business, REI is equal to first. You've got to walk in on Monday morning or whatever the morning is that you wake up after watching this video and you got to start thinking to yourself, you know what? I'm a full-time real estate investor. I got this side thing going on that's taking up my time, but I got to figure out how to get rid of this side thing here because I am a real estate investor. So you have to start thinking about it in that way. Your whole day, your whole thought process, the things you do, everything about your life becomes that the primary goal is your real estate investing business. Your job is a second thing that you do. Your job is a thing that you do while you get this up and running. And that is the most important mindset that I want you to have. Now, everybody always talks about balance. You know, Chico, I want to be able to have a balanced life. I want to be able to enjoy work and make lots of money and be able to spend time with my family. And those are all good things. And I definitely say that you should do that. I mean, I go recently, I was out of town. I was out of the country and on vacation for pretty much most of the last 60 days with my family. So you could certainly do that with real estate investing. However, when you're first starting out, it is an imbalance that you have to be focused on. You are going to be focused intensely on the real estate business. That means that you may not go out with friends because you want to make sure that you're going to be, you're not going to go out Friday night drinking with the thought that, hey, I'm going to get up on the morning, Saturday morning and make cold calls and or do whatever you're going to do, follow up on leads, whatever the decision is you're going to make about lead generation, which I recommend Facebook ads for motivated sellers. Click on the link in the description for more training on that. You got to think about that. There's an imbalance here. You've got to get, if you've got a family, you got a wife, you got to sit them down, or a husband, you got to sit them down and say, honey, I need you to believe in me. I need you to know that I'm going to make this work, but I need your support because at the very end, they're going to have to be okay with the fact that you're going to be working. I have to adjust my light up there. You're going to have to be working more hours than they're used to. You're going to have to be putting in more time. You're going to be, maybe there might be a birthday party that you would normally attend, but you're going to tell your spouse, you know what, if you don't mind, could you go and take the kids there because I got to spend some time making some calls and try to make something happen. And that's just the way it is. So mindset is the number one key to making this work. Let's go for number two. Number two is confidence. Confidence. How do you get confidence? Well, you get confidence by increasing your capabilities. That is the best way I know to make to be confident. Yeah, fine. You can listen to a Tony Robbins tape and get all pumped up and feel like, oh man, Chico, I'm really confident today. But at the end of the day, that's just gonna last you for a little bit of time. Your confidence is that you feel that you can leave your job and you know that you can produce income. You have done it. You have proven to yourself, you have proven to others that you've done it, and now you're going to go out on your own with the confidence. And so the capabilities is what I had confidence. And I'm not going to get into all the different capabilities in terms of what you need to have. The one thing I'm going to mention, I'm going to kind of narrow it down, which is to be the most important thing. The two most important things, I think, is number one is you need 1 to 2 max. Start with 1, at the most bring in 2 total. 1 to 2 max marketing channels that you know, that you own, that you know like the back of your hand, that you can use in order to be able to generate motivated sellers. I suggest you start with 1. The only reason I say 2 is because you don't want to have a situation where you have one marketing channel that fizzles out and then now you've got nothing. Now you got to start from scratch. It's better if you have 2. Don't start 2 simultaneously. Start with 1. And so that's my recommendation, because at the end of the day, what I always tell people is that the phone locked me out. What I always say is that you've got to your first stage is getting the first 1 to 3 deals. The next step is how do you do 2 to 3 deals a month? With 1 to 2 solid marketing channels, you can accomplish that whole spectrum of things. Now, if you want to scale and go 10 deals and 15 deals, that's fine. This is not, if that's what you want to do, that's great. It's not a conversation for here. If that's what you want to do and you haven't, and you still haven't done your first deal and you haven't been able to successfully quit your job, erase that from your mind. Your objective, singular objective, is to how do I get my first 1 to 3 deals done? That is it. And you're going to do that by being able to be hyper-focused on 1 to 2 channels at the most that you're going to use in order to be able to successfully find your first set of deals. And that's it. The second skill, so confidence comes from developing a skill set in marketing. So I'm going to write here the word marketing so you know what I mean. Marketing, and also, plus sales. Marketing and sales. And the reason I say that, and I had a meetup where I discussed this, those are the 2 most important critical elements of this business, because you could do great marketing and you could generate a lot of motivated sellers. But if you can't close a door, you're not going to be able to close a seller. And so sales is so important. So many times I hear investors say, Chico, man, I am not getting results from this marketing channel. But you know what? I listen to their calls and I'm like, man, you're horrible on the phone. You're not going to be able to close anybody. Who's going to be confident in dealing with you when you sound the way you do? So getting yourself and making yourself better at sales. And so the study of sales is another critical component, because if you know, like this is the thing that I know marketing and I know how to sell. So I know that I can go out to any market in the country, be able to generate motivated sellers and be able to get them to feel comfortable with me and put a deal together. I know that. So no matter what happens, I can go into a market like a Navy SEAL, like the Puerto Rican Navy SEAL that I am, and I can go into a market and do that. That's what develops confidence. It's not the woo-woo, I went to Tony Robbins and I walked on coals and now it feels nice. No, it's not that, okay? All right, so that's the, and then the other thing is, in terms of developing confidence, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put deals, right? So before quitting your job, you need to have gone through and done at least 1 deal. You need to have done at least 1 deal. Now, in terms of a deal, it could be that you did the deal by yourself. It could be that maybe you've gotten good at sales and marketing, but at the tail end, when you were trying to put a deal together, you couldn't do it yourself, so you had to get somebody else involved. You got another real estate investor, you got another wholesaler, and they said, fine, I'll put the deal together. You gave them a percentage of the deal. Maybe you split the deal with them, whatever the case is, but you got a deal across the goal line. That is the most important thing. I always tell people that it doesn't matter, like I have courses and I have training. It doesn't matter how good my training is. It doesn't matter how good anyone's training or seminar is, nothing ever takes the place of you successfully taking a deal from beginning to end and collecting a check. You need to be able to get at least at the bare minimum one. I would prefer 3 deals. I would prefer 3 deals. By the time you're done with 3 deals, you know this business. You know what it takes to do a deal. You've dealt with enough problems now to get those 3 deals, because in the path to 3 deals, you probably had more deals. Maybe you had 5 deals or 6 deals, and 3 of them fell apart. And then you were able to make the 3 others work. But now you've got a tremendous amount of experience. And so to me, that is those are the 3 things that build the confidence that then you feel that, you know what, I think I can do this. I think I can do this. Last but not least is the S. And the S stands for stability. Stability. So you've got to be able to have the mindset that you are a real estate investor. This job, that's just a temporary thing. You're trying to get out of it. Number 2 is you got to be able to develop confidence that you can do this business. Because why? Because you can go out and find sellers. You can go out and be able to talk to them intelligently, and you can close deals. The last part of the equation is stability. You don't want to leave your job if you barely have any money and now you've got to make this thing work, or otherwise you're going to have financial apocalypse. You don't want that, because you're going to be making emotional decisions. You're not going to be making good and accurate decisions in that particular situation. So I don't recommend that. So what is my recommendation for that? Well, the recommendation for that is that you need to have, I would put here 6 months. 6 months. Okay, 6 months of cash in the bank to cover your business expenses. Now, while you're doing that, also, try to keep your expenses down. Don't go out and make a bunch of money with your real estate wholesaling business because you got a full-time job, and then you're going out and you're, coming to Miami and, buying bottles at the club or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't do that anymore. Wait a second. I never did that. But you get my drift. So make sure that you don't scale your expenses, right, with your income, because what you want to do is you want to put aside 6 months of your expenses. So that you know that your car payment, your mortgage, and everything else is set aside for you to be able to do this business without having to worry about that. Now, the second thing is you need 90 days of marketing expenses, right? So, and that depends on 90 days. I'm going to write marketing. That depends on what marketing. That depends really pretty much on how you're going to be marketing. If you're going to do direct mail, and that's what you're planning on doing, which I don't recommend, then you're going to have to leave a much bigger budget for marketing, right, over the next 90 days. And you would know what that budget is, because if you've been doing direct mail and you've had success with it in this particular stage here, then you know what it's going to take. So you know what you need to put aside for the next 90 days to do deals. If it was cold calling, it'd be less. I prefer Facebook ads. In fact, if you do Facebook ads, I think it's better for you if you have a full-time job, because if you're going to do cold calling, you're going to struggle with putting in the time required to successfully talk to enough people to do deals. It's going to take you that much longer. So putting in a strategy that you can pay for leads and then be able to handle the incoming leads as they come to you, that's a better strategy. And again, you have to consider the fact that you've got to put in 90 days worth of marketing expenses. And I put 90 days because also at the same time, you have to think about how long it takes to do a deal. People ask me that all the time. Chico, if I start your program, can I get a deal and make money in 30 days? I mean, it's possible. But I always give the example of there's a fine line between possibility and probability. Is it possible that you can go out and play the lotto today and win? It's definitely possible. The odds are there that there is a possibility for that. But is it probable? It isn't probable. And that's what I'm talking about here. So is it possible that you can put a deal together and make money in 30 days? Maybe it's possible, but realistically, if you put a campaign out, you talk to sellers, you follow up, by the time you put a deal on the contract, by the time you sell that, by the time it closes, you're looking at realistically 60 to 90 days. So you have to consider that. And so one of the other things that I want to have you have in place in terms of stability is I want you to have some deals pending. All right. What I don't want to happen, right? Deals pending if you have done deals already because you've developed your skill sets and the marketing channel you're going to use, right, then you want to be able to walk into this situation ideally with some deals pending that now you have. Now that depends on risk. You might say, Chico, man, I am so confident. Screw it. I'm going to go. I don't have any deals pending, but I know I can find them. It's okay. If you feel that way, it's great. However, to be on the safe side, I would say you want to walk into this thing where you have your money set aside, you have your marketing set aside, you have a couple deals already pending to close, a couple because you never know, one could fall apart, etc. And now you're working, right? Because the minute you quit your job and you step into that full-time or being a real estate investor, you're not looking to make money now. You're looking to make money 90 days from now. Keep that in mind, 90 days, because it's a 90-day cycle. So it would help if you've got a set of leads and follow-up and pending deals that you're already walking into. That's what I'm talking about. And again, make sure in this business it's so easy to scale your expenses, even if you don't mean to, because you buy this service, you buy that service. Next thing you know, you have a bunch of monthly services that you're paying every single month. You're paying $500 or $600, and it all adds up. And you have to be a ninja. Don't go out and buy a fancy car. Don't go out and buy yourself a Rolls Royce. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I would try to think, oh man, I made like 40 grand on these deals. Let me get myself a Lamborghini, even though I got a full-time job. Don't do that, please, okay? So that is my framework for putting yourself in a position to leave your job. Now, it all depends on risk tolerance. It all depends on what you got going on. If you're single and if you're young and you're living with your mom or dad, and you'll be like, screw it, I'm quitting now. Forget about this, Chico. Screw that. You know what? I don't even forget about my job. Real estate is first. And I'm just going, no parachute. It's fine. You do that. I did that. But if you have a family, you've got a mortgage, you got kids' school and all that other stuff, it may not be a good idea, right? So you have to kind of weigh that out, and that's what I'm talking about here. So that's my formula for quitting your job. And remember, again, one of the most important things about this is to make sure that you subscribe to my channel, because if you don't, you might say, Chico, I messed everything up. And I think I did that, messed everything up because I didn't subscribe to your channel. You wouldn't want that to happen. Besides, you wouldn't need my help to get all this done. So let's go do it. Okay? So that's it. I'll talk to you later.